What is going on, everybody? It's Mr. Pumpernickel 12 here with another Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. Now, in this video, I'll be playing on King of the Hill King. Yes, the map is actually called Koth King or King of the Hill King. Kind of a weird name, but it's kind of a weird map. Now, the reason I say that is because I always thought this map was kind of odd. I never really liked it at first. But as I've played it more often, I kind of enjoy it. I've learned where the health packs are, and I just kind of understand the map a little bit more. And it's actually quite a fun map. It can be a very fun map indeed. In this video, I am playing as the Demo Knight with the Lock and Load, the Charge and Targe, and the unusual Horseless Headless Horseman's Head Taker. That is a tongue twister. They had to implement all of the lesses in there, I suppose, since it doesn't have like a horse or horseman. So this is actually the unusual horseless headless horseman's head taker. Was actually a reskin of the Eyelander, and Nessie's 9 Iron is also a reskin of the Eyelander. So at the beginning, this was the first game I had played for the day, and I don't know if you guys have this problem, but oftentimes it takes me a little while to get the hang of playing a first-person shooter. I can't just jump in right away. It takes me a couple games or part of a game to get used to it. So the first little bit, it's kind of slow, but our team ended up capturing the point fairly quickly, and I just start taking heads. Just all those heads. At this point, I have my full health and my speed is as it's at its max, I guess you'd say. So I can avoid a lot more damage more often than not. So that's one thing I like about the Eyelander or the Horseless Headless Horseman's Head Taker. Gosh, it's such a tongue twister. Just makes me not want to talk. The reason I like those is because you move so much faster, and it's not quite as fast as a scout, but still very, very useful. You can chase people down with your melee weapon. My second equipment, the Charge and Targe, I actually used to prefer the Splendid Screen, but since the weapon update that improved the Charge and Targe to the point where you don't catch on fire, I prefer to use that, especially in games when you have a lot of pyros coming at you, which I did in this game. Quite a few pyros, at least 4, I would say. But whenever there's that many pyros, you kind of want to go Demo Knight and just pull out the Charge and Targe and just kind of keep them at bay. At this point, I'm just kind of keeping the enemy team away from the King of the Hill point, I guess you would call it. I'm not really sure what you would call it, but I'm just keeping them away, trying my best to stay closer to walls, especially when I'm out in the open. When you're underneath like this on Koth King, it's not too bad as Demo Knight, but when you're out in the open, you are in a lot of danger, because you are mostly a melee centered class as a Demo Knight. You have your Lock and Load or your regular grenade launcher, of course, but that can only do so much damage. It depends on how good you are. I'm not the best, but I can sometimes get a couple of good shots. Now right there, as you can see, that pyro kind of dove on me. There were several pyros in there in the mix of that, but I was able to keep them away with I was able to avoid taking too much damage with the Charge and Targe, which is a very useful item indeed. Now right there, you probably just saw me kind of fake out that heavy. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can avoid people really easily around objects. People often, I said this in another video, people like to chase, and you can use that to your advantage. That heavy was just kind of like walking and trying to get around the corner, and I was able to easily take him out from the back without taking any more damage. Whereas if I charged head on, I probably would have gotten mowed down by his minigun. So the enemy team happened to capture the point, and they're kind of making a really hard push. We were just about to win the game. Only 30 seconds were left, and I thought we would have had it in the bag, but they ended up capping it, and I don't know where my teammates went. A lot of them were snipers, so they were staying back, but they were half decent snipers. They weren't terrible or anything. But I was kind of confused as to where my teammates went during this whole thing. I was trying to get in, but as a demo knight, it's kind of hard to take out a lot of people. You do better with one-on-one type of situations. Another great tip as a melee-based unit, or even like a scout, for instance, any class that's a little bit faster, if you can get behind people, you can do a lot more damage because, well, obviously they won't be able to hit you, but you can get the element of surprise. You can get 1 or 2 more hits before they turn around and and shoot at you. So the 1 minute mark starts to come up for their capture. So I'm thinking, okay, it's cap or bust at this point, because they are very close to taking this home. So I'm starting to push up more towards the point and kind of pushing them back. And right here, I popped that sniper kind of to the left, so I moved my aim a little bit more than I would have, and ended up taking him out, as well as his teammate. That's one thing I love about the lock and load, is that as a sniper, they wouldn't be able to move out in time if they are going to be scoped in like that. So you can take out snipers if you can get close enough to hit them with your lock and load. So we end up capping the point fairly easily after we make that final push. It seemed that our teammates, if we had all of our teammates pushing at one time, we would have easily won the game earlier. So I kind of got a little ahead of myself and started pushing out, even though we hadn't won quite yet. But right here, we're just kind of mopping up at this point, taking care of all the stragglers, and just making sure that they can't get back to the point. By the end of this, I ended up having 15 heads, and, well, 17 after taking those 2 guys' heads off. So that's the end of this commentary. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.